American Imam praises martyrdom for Allah as upgrading from economy to first class. In a recent sermon, Colorado Islamic scholar Karim AbuZaid controversially discussed martyrdom in Islam, likening it to, quote, an airline upgrading you from economy to first class. Abu Zaid's metaphor, aimed at glorifying death for religious causes, raises serious ethical concerns, particularly as it appears to promote a glorified view of death and conflict. His statement, quote, you booked economy and the airline tells you we upgraded you to first class, not only trivializes the gravity of life and death, but also dangerously romanticizes the concept of martyrdom. Furthermore, his critical remarks about Israeli soldiers and the endorsement of violence against them reflect a worrying stance that could incite further conflict rather than promote peace and understanding. Abu Zaid's rhetoric, while reflecting a certain religious perspective, disregards the broader implications of advocating for death in the name of religion, particularly in a world already rife with religious and political strife. This is so funny because this is about Abu Zaid. Zaid in our live chat is saying, "Hi, Dad."
Yeah, Abu Zaid means father of Zaid. Abu means father Zaid.
Well, I hope your
That's
dad
great.
is better than this guy because we're about to watch his statements, and I want everyone
Oh,
to
we
hold
are?
on to their pants. Yeah. So, and I also want
Okay.
to keep. I want you guys to keep in mind that this is a person that is preaching in the middle of Colorado.
Mm.
So, let us watch his statements and judge for ourselves, Armin.
I have to refresh this. It keeps doing that
I
every
know
time.
it sometimes does that.
You should give me the YouTube link when you want me to play these things. Oh, there we go. Let me just full screen. Oh, it's gonna be in English, right? So we don't need to read it. Good.
He says a few terms in Arabic, but
Okay.
mostly English.
We started shying away from talking about martyrdom because now the West at one stage, oh, you guys want to get this, the 72,
Virgin.
you guys want to get the 72 women in Jannah. So Muslims
Jannah means paradise.
now they shy away from talking about shahada fi sabilillah, dying in the cause of Allah. Yeah, there is a prize for those who die in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you ask the martyr while he's in Jannah, what is your wish? He will say, I want to go back to this world and to be killed in the cause of Allah. And go back and to be killed in the cause of Allah. That's martyrdom. They believe that. Those people believe that. Imagine, where all of a sudden, look at these guys. They bomb their home. They have no homes. And they are fleeing from the bombs. And imagine, so here you are in this world, you're looking for a place to hide. And by all of a sudden, you find yourself in Jannah. In Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ says that the souls of the martyrs in the bellies of birds, they fly wherever they want to go in Jannah. They received upgrade. You booked a economy class, and the airline tells you we upgraded you to first class. Don't worry about them. These cowards, we know that. We see the videos. They go and fight those few. Yeah, they are under the ground. They can stand in their face. They beat them up. They run away. So they go and they take their anger on women and children. He can only fight you from behind a wall, an airplane. Now they don't even fly the airplane. They have something. Remember, one day Allah will give Muslims drones too,
This
rocks.
is where it gets
A
juicy.
rock one day will call.
Wait, wait a second. Hold on. Muslims will one day get drones too. Okay.
One day will call
I mean, they technically have drones now. I don't know what he's talking about, but okay, let's see. Okay, let's see what he's saying.
drones too, rocks.
Let's go back.
Now they don't even fly the airplane. They have something. Remember, one day Allah will give Muslims drones too, rocks. A rock one day will call Abuna Muslim, come behind me. There is a drone. That's a drone. The rock will call a Muslim, come behind me. He's behind me. اللهم إنا نسألك بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العلى أن تنصر إخواننا المستضعفين.
Wait, what happened to that story? Hold on. Let's finish this stupid. Okay. Oh Allah, we ask you to support our oppressed mujahideen brothers fighting for your
العلى
cause.
أن تنصر إخواننا المستضعفين المجاهدين في سبيلك يا رب العالمين. زلزل
Oh Allah, shake the ground beneath their enemies' feet.
الأرض من تحت أقدام أعدائهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم زلزل
Oh Allah, shake the ground beneath their enemies' feet. Okay, same thing again.
الأرض من تحت أقدام أعدائهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم ملكهم.
Oh Allah, give them the necks of their enemies, or give the Muslims the neck of the enemies.
رقابهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم رد
Oh Allah, make the plots of the Zionists, the Arabs, and the others backfire on them. Okay.
كيد الصهاينة
So I was talking about. Okay.
من العرب وغيرهم إلى نحورهم يا رب العالمين.
Or what was that? Drones are now hiding behind rocks? I don't
No, no,
get
no,
that.
no, 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 no. He's saying because he's basically calling the Israelis cowards for using drones. Okay, and one day Muslims will have their own drones, is what he's saying. Okay, by the way, there are many Muslim nations that have drones, for the record, Iran being one of them. And then he goes on to say that don't worry though, because one day Muslims will have our own drones and that our drones will be the rocks. And when he's saying it, he's not saying the word the Jews, the Yahud. He's leaving that part out to kind of couch or hide what he's saying, but he's referring to the end times prophecy that when the end
Yeah.
of days comes and Muslims come to take over the entire world and establish a global caliphate, that even the rocks and the trees, except the Garkad tree, anti-fascist icon, the Garkad tree, will be the only tree that will not s- come to speak to tell the Muslims that there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him.
Yeah.
So he's saying
So
one
basically,
day those rocks will be our drones.
yeah. So the summary of version of what Susanna just said is that at the end of times, Muslims will be going around and killing all the Jews, and the Jews will be hiding behind trees and rocks, and there will be a miracle. There will be an Islamic miracle, and the trees and the rocks will speak and say, "Oh, Muslim, come! There's a Muslim, there's a Jew hiding behind me. Come and kill him." And again, we showed this multiple times. This is authentic hadith. This is a fundamental part of Islamic teaching, and there's no way of separating that from Islam, right? Um, but when he was speaking, I kind of misunderstood him, and I had this imagery because he was like the drones hiding behind rocks, and I thought that because the drones are Jewish as well, and the Muslims are now chasing the drones with rocks, and the drones would be hiding behind rocks. The drones would be like, "Oh no!" I was, I was just having this image of this drone hovering behind the rock and like looking around, and Muslims are fighting it with stones. I don't know why I had that image. I have a question. Why don't they go to fight and die? Like, why is he there? Right, he's in Colorado, right? That's not a place to die. I mean, there's very unlikely for you to die in the cause of for Allah. Like, why is he not just going to Gaza? Or there are many other opportunities out there. I mean, you could go to Syria, you could go to Iraq right now, you could go to Yemen, and that will significantly increase your chances of being murdered. I mean, if you truly, truly believe that becoming a martyr is the best possible thing that could happen to you, why don't they just go? Do you have any explanation for why don't they go?
So I think what he's trying to do is basically, for lack of a better term, like it's a cope. So cuz what he's saying to his audience is explaining to people how those who are dying in the cause of Allah in Gaza, as he frames it, don't worry about them, basically. He literally says in that video, "Don't worry about them."
Yes.
So it's supposed to be, I guess, like, psychologically comforting to the people that are heartbroken about their Muslim brothers and sisters in the Ummah, like, being killed as civilians in Gaza, which is genuinely heartbreaking, but it's framing it as, "This is okay." Remember, because you covered on that stream that with, Secular Rarity, that video with Muhammad Hijab, and he was saying something very, very similar, and he was saying, "This is actually a victory. If we die this
Yes.
way, it's a victory because we get the highest place in paradise." So it's still it part of it is sympathetic in the sense that it's a way for the human psyche to feel some sort of comfort or control over seeing really brutal death, right? But
Right.
it's like doing it in such a toxic way by glorifying it, by fetishizing it, by actually treating it as its own accomplishment, by treating it
Mhm.
as the highest accomplishment. It's so dangerous. But Armin, people are gonna be like, "Well, how Islamic is this belief?"
Oh, it's
J
foundational. It's like it's. I mean, the concept of akhirat versus dunya, and this life being insignificant compared to the next one, and the best possible outcome for you in the next one is martyrdom, and there's nothing higher than martyrdom. Martyrdom is so central within Islamic teaching. There's, I mean, if you take that out of Islam, it's not even Islam anymore. That's how foundational this belief system is within Islam. So yeah, it is very Islamic. I just still don't know how Muslims, I mean, I know I'm, but I'm saying this for you. Don't do, how much do they genuinely believe that? Okay? Because if you genuinely believe that, you wouldn't be where you are. You wouldn't be in Canada. You wouldn't be like in United States. Because why would you spend your time focusing on things that improves this life, when this life is so temporary and the other one is infinite? And the best thing you could do for having that life the best it could possibly be for you to go get murdered, then why are you even going to Canada and US like this guy, or wherever, they for the sake of having some a decent life or some peace or some um you know to reduce your hardship and bring, I mean, I don't understand any of this. Like, you should be, why are you, like, you might lose your chance. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You might get hit by a car. That's not becoming martyr. Tomorrow you might get sick and hospitalized and die, and that's, you miss your only chance to get the highest place in heaven. And for eternity you're going to hate yourself. Even if you're in heaven, you're going to be like, oh my god, for eternity I'm in this part of heaven where I could have been in the higher part of heaven. Why did I not go and become a martyr? I just don't understand. How do you don't come up with that conclusion? Why are you doing what you're doing? You should leave everything and just do. I mean, I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm not promoting jihadism here, guys. I'm just don't know why would anyone not come to that conclusion. And this is the problem with Islam. People are like, no, I mean, the problem is not with Islam. The problem is with Muslims. Actually, no, the problem is with Islam. It's less with Muslims, it's mostly with Islam. Because if you take Islam seriously, there is no other conclusion that you could come to other than go do jihad. Like,
No,
why?
the
That would
log
be,
here's the thing that people don't understand. The logical conclusion is to join the Islamic State.
yeah, it's to do jihad
It
like
literally is.
any kind of, yeah, or to do any kind of job. There's so many opportunities. It's not just Gaza. You could go in Africa right now. There's a lot of Muslims there fighting and dying all the time. You could be the lucky other one that dies there. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Again, guys. So understand that given the premises of Islam, foundational and central within the Quran, the logical conclusion would be to go do jihad. Okay, so that's how Islam rots your brain and society, because you can't be like, well, we could reform Islam. No, this is foundational. The only reason why all Muslims are not doing this is because most Muslims are better than Islam. So the problem is with Islam. If you want to see what is causing a lot of this chaos, it is the Quran. I mean, like, oh, we could change Islam. Well, you have to change it so much that it's detached from the Quran. So unless you could detach Islam from the Quran, then this is what you have.
Exactly. I think
Yeah.
what I find very difficult is like people just don't understand that. They don't want to be honest with themselves about that. They want to cope and say that this is a matter of geopolitics, that this is a matter of basically historical grievance, that this is a matter of neocolonialism, this is a matter
Mm.
of material conditions, and to some extent it is, because we just know for a fact across the world that poor material conditions and basically living amongst death breeds fundamentalism no matter what religion you're in. But that doesn't take into account that there are millions of Christians living in dire poverty. We don't see them conducting attacks. There are in some of the most brutal instances of attacks, jihadism, violence are not done by people in poor material conditions, especially the ones that happen in the West. They're done actually by highly educated people, engineers, kids in college, people from high achieving immigrant parents. So
Yeah.
oftentimes it doesn't come from a lack of understanding the text.
Yeah, no,
It
it
comes
comes
from
from
understanding it
understanding
all
it
too well.
too well. Yeah, exactly, exactly. By the way, am I doing? I'm kind of worried right now because some nihilist is saying Armin is more convincing than Imams.
This is why we call
I
you Wahhabi Armin.
yes, I don't think anyone is going to get convinced to go and do jihad and because of the arguments of an atheist. So I hope not, guys. All of this was just to show how horrible Islamic teachings are. Please don't go and do jihad. It's not good. Okay, stay home. Stay home. Um. All right.
Oh my god.
I never thought I would say that. Please don't go do jihad. Okay. Oh, by the way, we have
Don't
Sheikh Army.
don't do it. It's bad.
It's bad. Jihad is bad. Yeah. We have Sheikh Armin Ibn Navabi in the live chat. So it has, I mean, your Photoshop skills could do some working. That hat, okay, but I appreciate it. I can
He
send you a
couldn't
better
even
picture
be
of me.
bothered to remove the white negative space around the skull cap.
Actually, that makes it better. That kind of makes it better for some
I
reason.
got confused. I thought this was like a pope hat for a while. Oh my god.
Wait, I have a better version. Where is that? I wish I had the image of me in the mullah outfit. There's one really good one, but I
Mhm.
just okay. Cool. So we have some super chats. You could go. I'm gonna go really quickly and be right back. You read them, okay?
Yes. Well, actually, before we dove into
Uh,
the super chats, I wanted to take this moment to talk about something. You can go ahead and go to the bathroom, Armin. So basically, one thing that this made me think about while I was reading or listening to that story is um, I am very fascinated and into the psychology of thought reform. And I wanted to take this opportunity to do a little bit of public teaching about how to identify a dangerous, destructive cult ideology. And so think about the statements that we just heard from that imam. And for context, so this is from Dr. Robert J. Lifton. He is essentially the world's preeminent expert on thought reform and brainwashing. He kind of created the field. And he has 8 criteria for how basically people are led into extremist um, in dogmatic beliefs. So to set the stage, let's look at criteria number 5. This is very important. And just keep these things in your mind. Number 5, sacred science. The group's doctrine or ideology is considered to be the ultimate truth beyond all questioning or dispute. Truth is not to be found outside the group. The leader, as the spokesperson for God or for all humanity, is likewise above criticism. Hmm, very interesting. I bet some people will identify some similarities already. Okay, let's go ahead and skip down to number 7. Number 7, doctrine over person. Members' personal experiences are subordinated to the sacred science. Again, so this ultimate truth, subordinated to the sacred science, and any contrary experiences must be denied or reinterpreted to fit the ideology of the group. So the idea is always more valuable than the individual. That's what they're getting at here. Number 8, dispensing of existence. The group has the prerogative to decide who has the right to exist and who does not. This is usually not literal, but means that those in the outside world are not saved, they are unenlightened, unconscious, and they must be converted to the group's ideology. If they do not join the group or critical of the group, then they must be rejected by the members. Thus, the outside world loses all credibility. In conjunction, should any member leave the group, he or she must be rejected also. So these are very important things to know about and identify, because you know that if there are groups or ideologies that are acting in this way, promote this way, they are inherently going to be destructive to human flourishing. And I bet there's some people that already recognize some patterns. So
True.
I just thought, and you know what? In the next story, I'm going to continue with another example. But we're going to get to that in a second. A little teachable moment, because
Mm.
there are teachable moments. Okay. So,
We have a lot of super chats and start comments to get to.
yes. So GJ, going back to talk about the abortion event debate, he was saying that he falls more around 22 weeks, or maybe he means that he was born at 22 weeks, and he had a colleague that was born at 24. Wow, very very preemie. Wow. Um, Benny is saying, no, sorry, was behind. Love you guys. Not sure what you're talking about there, Benny, but we love you too. Thank you.
But thank you, Benny.
I love this comment from Darko. He's like, I'll be flying coach. Thanks. I don't need an upgrade to first class. I will take economy. Thank you very much. Newman gave us a super chat saying, how is my only real atheist republic family doing? I'm doing good today, Newman. I'm almost recovered from being sick. My chronic illness is kicking me in the face today, but that's okay. This is how it goes. Besides that, I'm doing good. Armin, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
How are you, Norman? Yeah.
Occasion American is saying, is he casting a spell?
When the guy was reading the Quran, I think that's when he said that. Yeah.
And I love this comment from D. This just made me laugh so hard. So she's talking about the trees and the rocks during the final days, revealing the revealing the location of the Jews. And she's saying, if basically saying, what is going to happen if the trees and the rocks speak Arabic, but most Muslims around the world don't speak Arabic?
All right, that's a good one.
What are we going to do?
The Jews will survive based on a technicality.
Because Allah is the
It's
greatest
really-
of deceivers. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Animation celebrated their 2-month membership. Well, thank you for being a member, Animation, saying, I don't want to lose my friends for their beliefs. Well, I'm not sure what the context of this is. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes I find it to be that I'm more accepting towards other people's beliefs that conflict with me than they're willing to be with me. So just try to extend a hand and have some grace where you can. But if they're rejecting you, I'm sorry. And I hope you can find a community that you like here. GJ also gave another super chat saying, I started studying the core Islamic doctrines since mid 2012, and I tell people exactly what Armin just said. Every Muslim is better than Muhammad.
Almost every Muslim, but yes.
And GJ is saying, thanks to everyone who just liked the stream. That's right, guys. Like the stream. We want to get there. Also, subscribe. Get us to 50K. We're growing quickly. We've been growing fast.
Yes.
It's actually so amazing. Sheikh Ibn excuse me, Sheikh Armin Ibn Navabi saying the rocks and trees will automatically translate to the Muslims' native language.
Mhm.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.